Yes, I remember my parents talking about it, and they thought that it wouldn't last as long as the World War One did. But they thought the way things were, and that in 6 months' time to 12 months' time it'd be over. I heard that in many sources, but it didn't plan out that way, of course. Yes. And things started to get tight. What I mean tight, then things started to go to be used with the forces, and foodstuffs started to be channeled into that respect, and clothing and all that too, as I remember it. Yes. I was a member of the Air Training Corps for about 8 months before I was 18, and that was in Lismore. They had and we used to meet once a week there and train how to march and various things, so that we wouldn't be know anything about it. But yes, at the Air Training Corps, and then when I through them, I put my application in to join the Air Force, and a week before I was 18, I went down to have an interview and a medical down to Sydney, and then 2 weeks after I was 18, I called up. I was in the Air Force. My pick of the three, that was my pick, and not because I liked the uniform or the what they did. I wasn't, as far as the Navy was concerned, I couldn't see myself being right out there lonely in the sea out there on a boat. Not me. Recruitment centre at Woolloomooloo in Sydney, and I reported there in the morning, and they put me through medical and other things, and in the afternoon we were given a blanket and an overcoat, and taken out and put on a double-decker bus and sent up to Central and put on the train. I'm laughing about it. And off we went out to Townsville. That's way out in the Murray. No, that's where the recruitment part of the recruitment. We went out there for 3 weeks. 3 weeks training, marching, about turn, all them things, shooting a rifle, doing it hard, what they call a bivouac. And yeah, come back and we're ready then to go to a course or training or something like that.
How many?
Discipline, I've never met discipline before, and we had to abide by it. Marching and get in line when you're marching. We got to know left turn, right turn, which was our left and our right, and there was always somebody that made the wrong turn, and that type of discipline. And getting up in the morning, out there where we went, it was very cold. I grew up in the centre where very few frosts were in the winter time, but I got up on the first morning, and lo and behold, the fence line and the wire on the fence was all white. As far as you could see, it was that damn cold, and a little westerly wind blowing. All them things were so different to home, you know. I leave. We worked 2 weeks, and after the second week, we had the weekend off, and we could catch the train from Overton into Melbourne, and if we were good boys, we got away early on the Friday afternoon, and we had Saturday and Sunday free in Melbourne, which was all an experience to me. I've never been in the city before, getting about and all that type of thing, and see how city people live, and the trams and the buses and different life. So I used to go swimming, not all the time, but quite often we went in one day or one afternoon, and we used to go ice skating. In that area of St Kilda, they had an ice skating rink, and we'd go up there and meet some girls. We were that age, you know, that yes, we liked our girls' company, and we used to go up there, and it was very good there. And we would, of course, to the races. We would. I can remember we went to the races at Flemington. Caught the train out there and got off, and that was an experience. All the people rushing here and rushing there to get on the trams and trains that came again. Bookmakers calling the things, and all a new life to us country boys, you know. Never seen anything like this before. Yeah. There's a song, Matt, and he had Arthur Murray's dance studios. There was some nice girls there, yeah, and they taught us a few steps in dancing. Of course, we were servicemen, we didn't have to pay. And that's in daytime and that, you know, but night time, they had classes of the daytime and dances of the night time, where you pay to go in and. Loving it. I seen, when I was down in Melbourne, in there, I seen a couple of big fights down in Young and Jackson's corner. Well, I happened to be near, just walking on to the corner opposite Flinders Station. That's Young and Jackson's corner. To there, and there was quite a number of Australian soldiers, and there was Yanks everywhere, and all of a sudden there was fighting going on the corner, and it lasted for 20 minutes or half an hour. Yeah, fair dinkum fights that were. The Yanks and the soldiers, there wasn't many Air Force chaps about, sort of, but for whatever reason is, there was either 6th Division or 9th Division chaps in Melbourne. And these Yanks had come down from the Philippines or somewhere on something in R&R leave. And they were flashed with money, taking the girls out by taxis everywhere. But if we had a girl, we had to get in the train and we'd go. And the girls, of course, loved the Yanks, taking them about plenty of money and taxis and all that type of thing. Yeah, I got up and get out of the road. I've had enough of that. And the military police arrived in good numbers, as I can remember it. Yes. But it took them a while to calm things down, I tell you. And the train it ended up at Townsville, but it took us about over a week to get there. We went to Sydney and up to Rocklea in Brisbane and spent a night or two there. And of course we had to change trains for the different, what do you call them? A different sized track, you know, on the interstate there, and we went up there, and we got up to North Queensland. It was raining and raining and raining. And we got to a place called Home Hill, and the train couldn't go any other further because of the flood. And Home Hill there was a little baker shop, a butcher shop, and a hotel. The hotel was like a big house, and they put shutters up there, and you stood on the footpath and bought something out. That was how the hotel was. And a blacksmith shop and a couple of houses like that. There was, and of course, you imagine a troop train pulling up with hundreds. There was army chaps and everything on it, and nothing to buy. The baker shop was bought out and this and that, and we were there for 2 days. The first day, it was unfortunate, of course, but somehow they brought up food done up in a paper bag, some sandwiches and an apple or something like that, and that's how they got our meal up to us at Home Hill in the flood over North Queensland. All these things are experienced to a small town boy like me. Just sit in the carriage where your seat was, and that was it, yeah. And the sitting one had a centre aisle there, and a ladder down at the bottom, and that was it. That compartment like that, and each side there was four people sat each side as you went down well, I never seen a fight there on the train, but we had a few arguments, and we were put on there. We didn't have much to read. The newspaper went round. It's got very ragged, I'll tell you, round there. But we didn't have anything that we could do. That was just it, where we were there and travelling. And I'm talking about me. I didn't know where I was going. They didn't teach you, and not teach you. They didn't tell you where you were going. They were so okay with this group. You're going up there by train to the north, and you'll be met up there at a certain place. We weren't told where we're going or anything in them times, you know. You're going aboard the boat and that's it. We didn't know till we got there. It took us a big experience, I tell you what. We went out through the channel and so forth, and we met more boats, a convoy out there, and there was a couple of big American cruisers out there on the outside of us, and a lot of other smaller craft, Australian, I don't know what you call them, the smaller vessels there. And it got very rough going up through the Coral Sea. Oh, jeez, the bloody boat was going like this. But we survived it, yeah. And further on, I don't know if they fair dinkum or not, we had submarine alert. The boat stopped, all the engines stopped in the boat, and we were told beforehand that if we had an alert, that we were just to stand still and breathe, that's all. And no noise. You couldn't tap anything or anything because sound travels in water. And we had the small, I don't know what you call the smaller boats, Australian. They were fast. They were zooming round, and they dropped depth charges further up along the line. The water went up, spraying up and so forth. I think it could have been fair dinkum like when these things were happening, yeah. And we're like that for or an hour at least, from memory. And then the engine started in the boat then, and we went on and everything. Yeah, this is up above the north of the Coral Sea. On the deck, sitting on the deck with me back towards the hold. And of course, when this started, the ship was closed. You had to stay where you are. And there was a number of us there, sitting with their back to there, and we could just see in that direction, but you know, there's a lot going on that you couldn't see. It was a big boat, what they call a Liberty boat. It had brought troops out to the Philippines from Sydney, from America, and then come down to Townsville to get supplies for itself, and took us aboard. It was a new type of, and you went down on the first deck, and the second deck was accommodation, and right down on the third deck was showers and toilets in this very, very deep like, and the hammocks side by side like this, and you just had put your kit bag there and stand there and get in the hammock. That's all the room we had. And it was hot, it was humid inside. They had certain circulations, but it was very humid. And then it's one of them things you sort of got used to. If you went to sleep, well, you didn't know what was going on, yeah. And we ate in sections. We went up. They had a small mess up near the bridge down underneath, and we went there. They had passages inside the boat, of course, that go along like this, and there was a number of holes coming from the, well, you only had that area. As I say, there you were allowed to go up on deck for a certain time, 20 minutes or half an hour, and then come back down, and that's a few more go. You couldn't all go up. When packed in there, and away we go. It had the driver and a chap in charge, and when we got into a certain place where we could see land, the chap said, "This is as far as we're going, chaps. When we put the ramp down, you're not right in there, you'll find out." Previous to that, the Americans had put down a big barrage, and they shot down all the palm trees that were growing around there. They fell. They shot them about this far off the ground, and they fell. A lot of them fell in the water, and the LCIs couldn't get into the shore. They put the ramp down on the head of the coconut palms. They're out on the bush. Okay, the ramp's down, and we had to get down. I'm laughing there. And go into shore. It'd be here to the other side of the room. They were fairly old trees on the trunks, about this big. And of course, the chap behind me, I wasn't doing too well, but he pulled, and we had full pack on. He pulled me haversack down, I went sort of half down, and he went down in the water. There was, I laugh about it now, but it wasn't bloody laughing about then. Down in the water, come on you chaps, the sergeant saying, get it back up there. Oh, and we thought, we didn't know what was going to happen or happening. Yeah, all these getting on the shore. That's rookies, you know. And I got to shore, and these stumps, they were still hot from the day before when this happened.
From the barrage?
Yeah, well, they fell in there, and they were still smoking a bit, like the heat off them, yeah, all jagged and everything. The brides took everything about this high and off, like the ground was come like this, and then up on the hill, on the plateau, all on that low country. We were based on Americans, so there was Americans all there then. These Americans, they come around hunting for bottles of beer. They trade your bottle of beer for a carton of cigarettes. And then up there, when I first started, oh yeah, that's just a good deal. And anyhow, I found me legs and so forth, and we were able to go to the American canteen where they had watches and lollies and just like home before the war, you know. Here they are in the American canteen. We had nothing. We didn't even have a canteen in the unit I was with, and this was jolly good. Made good use of it.